Cancer remains the #1 killer in this country, but new figures suggest the average Canadian is less likely to die of the disease now than decades ago. For instance, the Cancer Society says the death rate for breast cancer is the lowest it's been since 1950. Lung cancer kills more people than any other kind, and while incidence rates are stable for women, they are dropping for men. And here's something of note. The incidence rates for rare cancers are on the rise, including in the liver and kidney. Researchers say obesity and alcohol abuse may be contributing factors, as well as immigration from countries where hepatitis is common. Health reporter Kelly Crow has more now on the changing figures and why cancer continues to kill.
Tobacco. In the field, it's a harmless-looking plant, even pretty. But every day, tobacco takes a deadly toll. Not only is smoking the major cause of lung cancer, which kills at least 55 Canadians every day, tobacco causes 30% of all cancer deaths, and it's linked to 18 other cancers. It's part of the sobering snapshot of the cancer landscape from the Canadian Cancer Society's annual report.
So we think it would have an enormous impact if we could eliminate tobacco completely from our society.
The good news? Turning away from tobacco is saving lives, but at this point it's mostly saving the lives of men. Back in the 1950s, about half of Canadians smoked. When scientists began reporting in the 60s that smoking caused cancer, men began to quit. Because women tended to start smoking later, many started quitting later too, which is why overall cancer deaths in men have dropped by 21% since the 1980s, but death rates in women have only dropped by 9%.
We haven't quite seen changes in the lung cancer incidence and mortality rates for women.
The report estimates that declining smoking rates have saved 100,000 Canadian lives over the last 20 years. But many Canadians still smoke, and many others are desperately trying to quit.
I've tried Nicorettes and I have done the patches and the acupuncture and hypnotism, everything. What did you do?
Margie Douglas started smoking when she was 23. She quit for 6 months, then had a brief relapse 2 weeks ago. Now she's quit again.
Something draws me back into that world again, and I start smoking and beating myself up onto it, and then the cycle just goes over again. It's a struggle.
The report also reminds Canadians that up to half of cancers are preventable, largely through lifestyle changes. But even with that, there still will be cancer because it's caused by a combination of genetics and environmental exposures. And it's also a disease of aging, which means the number of new cases will continue to increase as the Canadian population gets older. Kelly Crow, CBC News, Toronto.
And a few final notes about smoking in this country. About 6 million Canadians are smokers. Most are in their 20s or 30s. And smoking rates are highest in the north. About 36% of people in Yukon and the Northwest Territories, and 61% in Nunavut.